My friends, this is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan again in one of the lectures or episodes that we have on our YouTube TV, PSMA TV International, and the language we use in this YouTube station is the English language. And I had done some episodes about the PSMA project. I went through our mission, our goals. I talked about the theory, the PSMA theory, or what we call the Elahinic theory. I explained the ideology behind the project or this new social movement. And I talked about our position regarding spirituality. And also I touched on the concept of dualism. And if you want to know more about these things, you can go back to the earlier lectures and episodes where you can deepen your understanding of the things we're talking about. And I had a plan of covering the last thing, which was about the methodology. And I will do that. But first of all, I want to talk about something which is urgent and important. So I will make a short episode, which will be episode number 11, and then will be 3 coming episodes, 12, 13, and 14, where I talk about the methods. And as I said, the PSMA project and the PSAM TV channel, which is an international one, the purpose of it is to serve the PSMA project. And I'm trying always to have a shorter version of episodes so that they can be practical for people who doesn't have time to listen to long lectures. But on the other hand, I have my own my own personal lectures or my own personal channel, which is called Dr. Adli Abouzeedan. You will find a lot of lectures that is dealing more of me as a person and my philosophy in life and my background. So if you're interested more of me as a person, you can write Dr. Adli Abouzeedan, and you will get a lot of lectures which is more personal. These group of lectures are under the title Universal Inspirations. And there you'll find more in-depth analysis of a lot of things that I kind of believe in, I think of. But the TV is for serving the PSMA project, and the material is directed both for members of the PSMA network and even people who are just interested to know more about the PSAM and who wish to be part of this part of the network. And you can, if you're desiring to be a member of this movement or to contribute to its growth, you can contact me at adli, ADLI .abouzeedan, ABOUZEEDAN 12 @gmail.com, and I'll be writing that email in all the lectures. You will find it in the information about the lecture. And as I said, the PSAM TV International is meant to focus on the PSMA project. However, sometimes events do occur in the world around us, and when we feel that these events really are connected to our values and the way we want the world to be in existence, I or other people in the network we commend these events out of the principles we believe in, and out of the connection to the 5 core values of ours, which are humanism, morality, purity, unity, and truth. And in that spirit, this episode is recorded last or during the weekend, Sunday. Today is 24th of April 2019. 24th of April 2019. Something terrible happened in Sri Lanka. There were a criminal terrorist attack on a couple of churches of our Christian brothers and sisters, and there were also some attacks on hotels, and the number of people who have been killed in this terrorist, unhumanistic, savage attack, I think it amounts to more than 300 now. And as a movement of peace, we, the Ilahis of the world, people who really believe in love and coexistence between all religions and all idea systems, we condemn this savage, barbaric act, and all of us are against this kind of barbarism and these kind of actions. And this is very important for us because we have condemned on the Arabic TV channel, because we have an Arabic PSAM TV Arabic. We condemned very harshly the massacre that happened in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago, and at the same level, and even far more, because the number of victims in this case is really kind of sixfold. We condemn this new terrorist attack with all our power, and we think that these kind of ideas and these kind of people who are spreading hate and spreading savagery and cruelty, cruel and barbaric action type of attitude, they don't have place among us in the world. And we really certainly hope that the people who are responsible for this outrageous crime are brought to justice and judged justly. I stress again that we, with the most strong and possible words, condemn this terrorist attack that happened lately in Sri Lanka during the Easter. The timing is very evil, and it meant to cause the maximum damage, not only to people, but also to relationships between different groups, between Muslims and Christians and Jews and other people of faith in the world. And it meant to really bring us apart from each other and poison our relationship to each other. So it is evil at many levels. It's evil because killing a human being, an innocent human being, is something which is outrageous. It's evil because it's really aiming to make us enemies of each other and create a chaos in this world. So those people who cannot live in light, they spread dark and they spread hatred across the globe. It's evil because it plays into the primitive kind of level of feelings that we have, and it can push some of us to just react and that is one of the purposes of these criminals, terrorists. And we should really face their plan. We should resist their plan by spreading love and peace and caring about each other and getting together. And what's great about, with all this pain that we feel when it comes to such horrendous actions, what is, if there is something which is positive in this whole situation, is that the people of the world, the humanity knows this game of evilness, and every time this kind of actions occur, people get together. That happened in New Zealand during the attack on the mosques. People got together in a most beautiful way, and they really asserted each other's love to each other, and they broke the barriers between them, and acted as humans. And the same thing now happening in the Sri Lankans massacre. People are getting together. They are determined to fight this evil and to wipe out this common enemy of humanity. That is first. The second thing I want just to point out as the leader of the PSAM project, the network, is that these evil people, in both cases, and during the New Zealand massacre and during this Sri Lankan massacre, those evil powers are trying to utilize and benefit from certain element of uncertainty, of a lot of chaos in the world, and they want to pull all of us into a very dangerous level of violence and of reactionary acts. The nature of the human society in the last couple of decades is changing a lot. People are moving around the world. They are mixing in a way that was never before. Muslims are migrating to countries which were never, which did not has larger number of Muslims historically in their backyard. Christians are becoming an important elements in many countries, which were a little bit kind of restricted in numbers. I'm thinking basically about for example, if you look at the Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, many countries now in the Arabian Peninsula are home for new Christian comers from other countries. So the mixing between the human elements globally is becoming more and more direct and clear, and that creates stresses on societies in general and new kind of phenomenon. And some people see this as positive thing. They see this as something which is really enriching humanity, but there are people who see in this fear, and they see in this future which was not as typical as the past was. So, and these evil elements do play with these fears. They play with the different kind of fears that do exist from the changes in society, and they are pushing or they are trying to push humanity into internal conflicts with its different elements. And that is why the PSMA project and the PSMA social movement and the Ilahenic social movement is gaining really great significance and importance in this time of a crisis, the human crisis, by enforcing and by propagating for values of love and integration and caring about each other. The answer for these terrorist actions, whether it was in New Zealand in a mosque or it was in Sri Lanka in the churches, is for us from different faiths and different idea systems, is to get together and work together and try really to build true bridges between us. And this is not the responsibility of the politicians, though they carry maybe heavier load of responsibility. It is the responsibility of every single human being on this earth, is to try to live really true love to other human beings and see their fellow human beings in their basic nature as humans and learn to love them and support them. We need to defeat the the evil plan of the terrorists, and the only way to defeat this plan and to kind of punch back on these evil individuals and their scheme is to get together and know to love each other and break all the barriers that is all the barriers are that are artificial in its nature, and that people are trying to use it to separate us from each other, to separate the Muslims from the Christians, to separate the Christians from the Muslims, and to separate the Jews from the Muslims, and the Muslims from the Jews, and the Hindus from the Muslims, and the Hindus from the Jews, and the Hindus from the Christians. So we really need as a humanity to get together and work together against this type of evilness. And as a person who is behind the Ilahinic social movement or the PSMA network, I confirm with the strongest word our despise and our anger and our condemnation for this horrible action in a time of so important, of so significance for our brothers in Christianity. And we will do everything we can to spread love and to spread caring among humanity as a response to the evilness of the people who are really behind these kind of actions. And this is our position. It was our position in the past, it is our position now, and it is our position in the future. We condemn any kind of violence and actions and terrorist actions which are targeting innocent human beings, regardless whether this kind of actions are done by a member, a person, an individual, or a group or organization, and even if it is done in the name of national interests or in the name of countries or under flags. Any kind of actions which are purposely targeting civilians, innocent people, especially as they are doing their worshipping, I mean, killing any human beings who's innocent at any circumstances is a terrible act. But these kind of actions where innocent people who are really worshipping their God or worshipping their deity is attacked is horrendous, and it is a crime of the utmost level and has to be met with the utmost strength. And defeating terrorism is about spreading love and peace among humanity. And the politicians in this world, from all sides, they have to be very careful in the kind of word they are saying or the kind of language they use when they talk about the others, because they should give a good example of true love. Any politician who is really spreading antagonism and spreading hate between people is not the worth is not a respected politician and can never be respected, and he is just a toy in the hands of the terrorists, because that is what the terrorists want. The terrorists want us to hate each other. The terrorists want us to separate us from each other. The terrorists want us to go astray from each other, so that they control. They would have the chance to control the world and enslave every human being, regardless of his religion and regardless of his idea system. As an Ilahin and an establisher of the PSMA network and the Ilahinic movement, I stress again our total condemnation on any terrorist act targeting people based on their faith or based on their idea system or ideology. And we are against any kind of terrorism and terrorist actions, whether perpetrated by a single human being or by a group of people, or even by states. Targeting innocent people, spreading hate, spreading antagonism between the members of the human race is really criminal and should be met with the utmost resistance. And what the world needs today is, again, is this kind of hate message, again, is this kind of evil message, is to spread the message of love and peace, and the message of getting together and working together as humans, and breaking all the barriers that really divide us. And by that, we close the arena for those evil spirits and all of those evil individuals who want to burn the world so that they can enjoy destruction of our home planet. We should not allow for that. We should be very vigilant. We should be very aware of what we do. We should stand against those evil people and should never let them legitimize their existence in life and what they do. And everybody should take the responsibility in fighting terrorism in general by all the available means, but it is also important for every human being on this earth to watch out his words and what he say, because the world today is in need of more talking about getting together and about love and talking about what unites us more than the thing that is dividing us. And politicians has a great responsibility in that essence. There is no doubt that these criminals who acted in this barbaric way are going to be dealt with, and they're going to be defeated, and their message of hate and message of of of, of evilness will never become victorious. The victory is for the goodness, the victory is for love, and the victory is for good souls who really understand that we as a human being, we as a human race are living on the same ship, and our destiny as a human race is so much coupled, and that the differences in our faiths and the way we look at life and our ideologies is something that should enrich our human experience, and it's not something that should divide us. And there is no doubt in my mind that every human being on this earth on Sunday, last Sunday, when these barbaric attacks occurred, felt true connection to these victims, because of our connections as humans, and felt anger and despising for those evil perpetrators and their wicked message and their wicked action and their criminal action. And our position, both as individuals and as a movement, is clear on this. We condemn any terrorist actions. We condemn any killing for honest human beings, and we are against any kind of targeting of human beings based on their faith or their ideology. And we can never accept justification for terrorism, whether coming from a single person or from organization or even states. Killing innocent people is wrong, it is wrong, it is wrong, and there is no justification for that under any circumstances. And any human being, any person in this world who legitimize terrorist actions and legitimize terrorizing innocent population and innocent people, whether in mosques or in churches or in temples or in Jewish temples or in Hindu temples or in Buddhist temples, or even in any public sphere that people get together and try to do good, is evil, and it should be condemned, and there should be no space for justification or for letting those people who do these evil things get any kind of praise or glorification for their evil acts. Targeting innocent people is evil. It is the highest level of evilness, and especially if it is connected and or based on their ideology or the kind of religion they belong to or the kind of thinking or idea system that they do live with it. This episode was very important, and I wanted to do it before I go into the talking about our methodology, because this is our duty as an Ilahanic movement and as a social movement of change. It's our duty to stand by humanity, and terrorism is an issue which is really goes against everything we believe in as Ilahins, and everything that our movement, terrorism stands against everything our movement works for. We want to spread love and peace on this earth. Terrorism, in its evilness, want to spread hate and antagonism and murder through all the world, and we have to stand for that, and for our position as individuals and as a movement collectively, and we have to work against this evilness, both as individuals and collectively as a network. This is our stand on the issue, and I wanted to clarify it, and it was very important for me to clarify that. So with that, I finish this episode, and I move into talking about our methodology. This is your brother, Dr. Adli Abouzeedan, the person behind the PSMA network and the Ilahanic social movement of change.